So we've come through the mountains and we've tested the van proper, because as we were on our way to Balatar from Leven, we had to take the A93, which is there, and that takes you through the heart of the Grampian Mountains, or the Cairngorm regions, and it's a pretty scary road, but there's definitely worse roads to drive, and I did it slowly, make sure I felt safe, and we got there fine. And then yesterday when we left Balmoral, we took that A939 route, and I had a look up online, because initially the sat nav we have was telling us a completely different route that didn't take it. And when I looked up online, there were people saying, oh, whatever you do, don't take it, because it's really difficult. But then the sat nav, when we moved a couple hundred yards, suddenly said take it, which knocked about 40 minutes off the journey. So we took a risk, and oh my days, if the A93 was challenging, the A939 is just unbelievable. I mean, you are driving up 20% inclines that curve and twist, and the same downwards. So it definitely tests your courage, but I'd say that it was both scary and exhilarating, and I'm really pleased that we did it, because over to the west there's the famous Balak Nabar, but I know Mrs. G's not keen to try that at all, and I think there's actually restrictions now on who can do it and who can't do it. So to have a go at the A939 from Balmoral on our way to the Battle of Culloden, which is 5A there, was really good fun, good experience. So I'd recommend it, but you definitely need courage to do it. Not sure I'd do it towing a caravan, but in a motorhome she seemed to cope fine. Just went down to alternating between second and third gear, and just made sure I felt comfortable, and that I didn't stop at any point, because I wouldn't have wanted to have done a hill start. Bloom on there. What are you doing behind there, Samalou?
Having moments.
So we've just been checked out of the Culloden Visitor Centre. Sammy had seen a whole row of Angus cow ties, which were for sale to anybody who wanted to buy them. But Sammy decided to grab one of them by the neck, and before I knew it, was shaking it. So there you go, well done, Sam. Actually, we haven't really been chucked out, but Sam did grab hold of one of the toys off the shelf and was shaking it before I could do anything about it. Look at him, butter wouldn't melt in his mouth. Sam, are you a naughty boy? So we went to the Culloden Battlefield Memorial yesterday, which is essentially a war grave site, and it was really peaceful. I mean, it's right next door to a busy road, so you could hear a bit of traffic, but you could quite easily imagine the battle as it unfolded, and there's various signs are dotted around the battlefield that show you where the main fighting happened and where the Scots were set up, or the Scots and French were set up, and where the government troops were set up. I might give that a go later. So we come back to the van and found that we have a leak.
How many boxes are in the back of this van?
How many boxes?
Yeah.
Not many. And then I came back to the van afterwards and saw a load of water dripping out the bottom of the van. And when we got in, eventually we found that one of the pipes from the pump that feeds the kitchen taps and bathroom, etc., had a little leak in it, which is a bit odd. Sort of came out of nowhere, and we'd had it replaced over the Christmas period. So what we think happened is on that A939 route with some of those steep climbs and that maybe the pipe worked itself a bit loose, because they were steep climbs. So they're push fittings, so what we did was unscrewed it a bit, pushed as hard as we could, and then screwed it back down, and touch wood at the moment it seems to be working fine. But this is the sort of stuff that happens when you got a camper van, so there's always something you're going to end up having to go at fixing. Not that I'm a handyman, but you know, you've almost got no choice, so you give it a go and hope for the best. So yeah, slight problem yesterday, but overcome. So as you can see, my van is called the Star Blazer, which I think pretty much means that I'm the Star Lord. Yeah, so the only real damage we had from the flood yesterday was the carpet is absolutely sodden around the bottom edge there. So I left it on the van overnight to see if it would drip dry, but coming out and touching it this morning, yeah, it still feels pretty sodden, but I'm sure a lot of the excess water's come out, so we're going to try drying it off at the laundrette, see if we can get it a bit dry. But so as you can see, we originally planned to stop at the steadings at the Grouse and Trout pub stop, which is number 6 there, after having done the Culloden battlefield at 5A, and then we was going to drive down and park up along Loch Ness and get the paddle board out and have a go at paddle boarding. We sort of stayed near stop 5A. It was about 9 p.m. by the time, well, it was about 8 p.m. by the time we'd finished sorting out the flooding in the van, and neither of us really felt like we wanted to drive all the way over to Loch Ness. So and as it happened, the steadings, the pub stop 6, that's this summer no longer taking pub stops, it seems. In fact, it's closed permanently, so that's what ended up making the decision for us. So we've decided not to go to Loch Ness, although we've got an opportunity on the way back. You can see the route coming down the west there, so we could pop over and have a look if we wanted, but it's also still a bit chilly to go and do paddle boarding. So I'm sure there'll be plenty of other opportunities, and so today we're on our way over to 7A, which is about a 17-mile, half-an-hour journey, which would be quite nice actually, because we've had a couple of really long journeys in a row. So I'm looking forward to having an easier day before we kick off the route NC500 proper. Scrambled eggs done Gordon Ramsay style. And these passion for flavour videos.